Shortly after Nazi Germany's annexation of Austria in 1938, Viennese butcher and amateur violinist Erich Weininger was arrested, beaten, and thrown on a train to the Dachau concentration camp. Although the prisoners were closely watched most of the time, the guards often left them unsupervised on Sundays. Some took advantage of their free time to socialize with other captors or read newspapers. Composer Herbert Zipper did something quite extraordinary. He formed a clandestine orchestra, one in which Erich Weininger played. Zipper's 14-piece orchestra performed in a latrine building that was still under construction. Their repertoire consisted of well-known classical works, as well as music that Zipper composed in his head each week during forced labor. He wrote out the pieces late at night when he was supposed to be cleaning toilets. Zipper notated the music on strips of paper that fellow prisoners would tear from the margins of Nazi newspapers and painstakingly paste together. There was only room in the unfinished latrine building for 20 to 30 people at a time, so the orchestra played in shifts of 15 minutes to allow as many audience members as possible to rotate through the performances. The prisoners filed in quietly and remained in conspiratorial and awed silence throughout the brief concerts. In a tightly controlled concentration camp like Dachau, where such pursuits were strictly forbidden, the musicians and the audience members risked torture or even death for participating in these unsanctioned concerts. In addition to providing a source of emotional comfort for the detainees, the music served as an inspirational reminder of the humanity that Dachau had taken from them. When they listened to the music, they were no longer weak, demoralized, and humiliated. They were dignified and strong, united in their spiritual resistance to Nazi persecution. If only for 15 minutes a week, they were surrounded not by the ugliness of the concentration camp, but by the beauty of music. Erich was transferred to Buchenwald later that fall. In the spring, his sister-in-law, a British Quaker, engineered his release. That winter, he began a harrowing, year-long journey to Palestine that would ultimately result in his arrest as an illegal immigrant. He was imprisoned in the athlete detainee camp south of Haifa. From there, he was deported to the British colony of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, where he and 1,600 other Jewish refugees spent the next 4.5 years in the Beau-Bassin prison. There, Erich and other refugee musicians regularly performed in the Beau-Bassin Boys, a jazz orchestra formed by pianist and fellow detainee Fritz Papa Haas. In the first year in Mauritius, the Beau-Bassin Boys provided the music for an English-language revue that consisted of songs, folk dances, and satirical poems about camp life. The vaudeville show was a big hit among those in attendance, which included the British commander of the camp and his wife, as well as members of the press. The popularity of the Beau-Bassin Boys extended well beyond the prison walls. Their performances were broadcast over the radio, and they were even allowed to leave the prison several times a week for performances. Dressed in matching white shirts and black pants, black bow ties with red cummerbunds, and white dinner jackets, the Beau-Bassin Boys played at dances, weddings, and other official and festive events throughout Mauritius, including parties hosted by the island's governor. These performances gave the musicians their only moments of freedom.